Welcome to the NFL Picks with the Goon Squad right here on YouTube. It's Black Thor and Puma today. Icewater is on assignment doing something else, but we will have him back next week for the regular show, the first 40 and our NFL picks. He did give me his pick. I got Pop's picks. But before we go to the picks, Black, I wanted to talk about some sad news I know here for Chicago fans. Gale Sayers, one of my favorite players from the Bears, and Walter Payton, two of my favorite players, but Gale Sayers passed away at 77 today. He is the Kansas Comet, went to 4 Pro Bowls, 5-time All-First Team in the NFL. He made it to the Hall of Fame at 34, the youngest player ever to make it to the Hall of Fame. He had a 7-year career, basically played for 5 years, but I know my pop told me about 2 running backs that I needed to look at in the running backs in our era. And when I was mentioning the running backs in our era, he's like, you got to look at Gale Sayers and you got to look at Jim Brown. But we're going to salute Gale Sayers today. What are your thoughts about Gale Sayers, man?
Yeah, your pops is right, man. It's interesting because it's sad in a way that I'm just going to say for the last 5-10 years, man, even his name hasn't even popped up, bro. Think about it. We think of running backs have gone before the current day running backs. We don't think of Gale Sayers, but he had a way of doing things on the field, bro, that would just make your eyes kind of blink. Like, did I just see what I saw? I mean, he was like a quiet guy, but like when the ball got in his arm, he became somebody totally different. I mean, he just kind of transformed and became someone totally different. He ran with a kind of finesse and nastiness about him. You know what I mean? Like, he had this mean finesse and nastiness that, you know, I'm going to show you something. You think you might see this, but I'm going to give you something else. And I was sad here of his passing. And it's funny because I kind of forgot about him a little bit. And I didn't realize sometimes you see a person's age and then you realize, okay, man. And then you kind of have to start to put together in your mind the age, how it kind of fits with the current day times. And 77, I just didn't, for some reason, I thought he stopped aging, bro. I just thought he did. But 77 to here, they passed, you know, one of the great ones, man. One of the great ones. Deserve much more recognition. I didn't know he went to the Hall of Fame that early.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at 34, but I didn't really know. I mean, a great stat that you provide us with there, but well received, well honored to him because he brought something to the field back then. It seemed like when he was running, the people that was actually playing with him, there might have been running in sand. He was running on ice, bro. That's how it looked sometimes. He was playing, man. He just was all out, moving fast and quick and juke. And he kind of, to me, took the running back position to a different level because you spoke of Jim Brown. Jim Brown was more of a bruiser. He got it done. But Gale Sayers is almost like art when he ran, bro. When he ran the football, he kind of brought like artistry to it at being a running back. And we don't see that much more in current day football.
So a friend of mine called me up today and he was asking me about it. And he asked me about, you know, how would you describe Gale Sayers? And it's really kind of rare that you say the word beautiful in NFL football when you describe somebody playing. He was just beautiful. You can just turn off the sound on the television, play some music, and then watch him run with the football. He was poetic and beautiful. Some of the things that off the field I want to mention, because he was a businessman off the field. I had a chance to meet him briefly years ago. He used to have a community center here in Chicago. And he was gracious enough to let an organization I was doing some work for have our strategic planning meeting there. He was just really gracious, really nice, wanted to contribute, heard about what we were doing and said, you know what, I'm not charging you. I hear you guys are doing some great work. And, you know, this is the least I can do to contribute to what you guys are doing. So always appreciate him doing that. Always kind of done things in the in Chicago. Chicago has forgot about him because every time you mention the Bears and the Bears season, you see the highlights of Gale Sayers and Walter Payton and all the greats. Came into the league with Dick Butkus. Also, he was part of the all 1960s decade team, the 75th anniversary all-time team, the 100th anniversary all-time team. I mean, the record and accolades go on and on and on. They retired his number. Also at Kansas, at the University of Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks, they retired his number 48, the Kansas Comet. I know you don't think of much of them now with Les Miles that goes there, but he almost rushed for about 5,000 yards. I think 4,956 yards. He had 5 yards per carry. That's saying something. He had like 3,172 return yards because he used to run back punt returns and kick
Mm-hmm.
returns. Had 6 touchdowns in one game. I mean, just ran all over the field. And he was just one of those players that I know when I look at NFL films, and especially when they feature the running backs, he's always on there. And I got a feeling watching a documentary with him not too long ago, about him not too long ago, that he always felt cheated that he had that knee injury and that he wasn't able to kind of finish his career the way he wanted to. Because he did come back in 1969 and did lead the league in rushing, but it just wasn't the way he wanted to come back. And I think that it seemed to me, I don't know about now if he kind of resolved that, but it just seemed to me, Black, that he was really kind of unfulfilled, only playing that short amount of time. But he became an icon in that short amount of time.
You're right. I mean, I'm sure he felt some of that for a period of time because he had more to give. But when you think about it, man, what he accomplished, and I'm hoping that at some point he resolved that with himself because for the short period of time that he played, look what he accomplished.
Yeah.
I mean, like you just said, six returns in one game, bro. Come on. I mean, players, he did some things in a short period of time. And I was glad to hear when you said he did some things to help you out. Of course, I commend him for that. But at the same time, and I like to see players that do it in a short period of time, kind of get out and still have a life afterwards, bro. Still healthy enough. So maybe, and he may not have looked at this, but maybe that injury could have been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Because, some cats that played at that time, and the things that they dealt with after football. And it seemed like, when he did go away or walked away, he didn't carry a lot of baggage, excess baggage with him from football. You never heard about him basically with the mental part, the CTE,
Yeah.
a lot of different things he didn't come with out of the game. So he made his mark, he had his impact. It might have been cut short, but that might have been a good thing. In the long run, it might have just been a good thing because it allowed him to go on and do other things in his life. But at the same point, have an everlasting impact on the game of football.
Yeah. I bought this shirt years ago, and the reason why I bought it is because I've always been a big fan of his. Even though he was playing before I was even born, always
Yeah.
been a big fan of his. And actually getting to meet him briefly was a treat and delight. So rest in peace, man. Hope you're playing football for God's team, man, because you definitely deserve it. This is another story, man. Before we go to our picks, man, Tyrod Taylor, man, and we said this on the show Monday night. I said it. I said this dude cannot catch a break, and so they reported that he had a chest injury during warm-ups before the game, and then the backup comes in, and Herbert comes in, and he has a good game against Kansas City, and then we find out that the doctor punctured his lung when he was giving him painkillers. Now we're finding out that he had cracked ribs, and they didn't report that. And then now they said that he's out indefinitely because they punctured the lung. This guy can't catch a break, bro. Every time he gets a starting position or somewhere, there's something that happens that prevent him from kind of shining the way he wants to shine. What are your thoughts? Because there is some history behind San Diego, not San Diego, but the Chargers having issues with their doctors and players.
To me, man, I at some point I hope the NFL, just this whole scenario you just explained, steps in, find whatever necessary, because you go from a cracked rib, and I'm not even sure if he had a cracked rib that day in practice why they're shooting him so soon in the first place. If you had a cracked rib the day of the game or the day before the game, you're trying to get him ready. It just, something about that just to me sound unethical. And I know, but they've probably done it in the past, and you figured they don't report it. All we heard not Monday, Sunday, I heard is that he had a chest injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think they made it sound it was an upper chest injury, and that he took a shot that didn't go well. He had a reaction to a shot. Getting your lung punctured is much harder and deeper than reaction to a shot, bro. I mean, I can't even imagine as I sit here and speak to you, sitting somewhere with a doctor and getting punctured in my lung, bro. I couldn't even. I mean, the thought of it is like it's crazy. It's unbelievable. So, I mean, to me, at least that doctor needed to be stripped of his license. And I know it may sound kind of harsh, but bro, I mean, who you would think that the NFL basically is a top-notch league. I know accidents may happen, but you should not be licensed and be able to basically have access to an athlete or anyone for that matter and make such a drastic, huge mistake, bro. When I first heard that, I kept saying to myself, how does that happen? How? I mean, what type of needle did they use, bro? I mean, I'm just trying to put it together visually, and I can't get it. So, I get your point about he can't catch a break. You know, I totally get that. You know, I don't understand. At this point, first you said the coach is saying he's going to come back when he come back as his team, bro. That's nice to say, but the man has a punctured lung. He has a cracked rib. And you have a rookie that you draft in the first round, if I remember correctly. You know, I can't see him basically stepping back on the field because reality, Herbert played well on Sunday, bro. The team rallied behind him. I didn't watch the Chargers play on the first week, but they rallied behind him. They stepped up and they played well. And at some point, man, you know, you got to let them take the field. If you draft them in the first round, they don't sit around that much anymore. Why wait till the season is gone and put them out there, kind of get them out there? But that's devastating news to me, man, that this man is walking around with a punctured lung for an incompetent doctor that the Chargers basically hired and believed in. So it makes you wonder sometimes, man. I know we hear players a lot of times. I think of Kawhi Leonard was in San Antonio. These crackpack doctors are crackpot doctors. These teams be hiring. You got to be questioning them, bro. You just can't have trust and faith in them because it seems like they're not only I don't know where they find these doctors, man. I really have no idea where they come across some of these that call themselves doctors. Maybe their brother-in-law, somebody of a cheerleader or something of that nature. But it's amazing. You keep hearing stories like this, and it's like how, with the money that that organization earned and what they're worth, you're just getting ready to play into a $5 billion stadium, and you got a doctor punching somebody in the lungs. It doesn't add up, bro. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah, I know the Players Association, they're reporting that they're doing an investigation on this, but there was an incident, and folks who are watching the show, there was an incident in 2017 that with the Chargers, with the doctors that was a major story. And this is, you know, a lot of guys get shot up before the game. So this is like one of those incidents that went totally to the left. And I feel bad for Tyrod Taylor because if he's out there injured, trying to keep his job, trying to keep a job in the NFL, and he's trusting the doctors, and the doctors follow up this way, I could smell a lawsuit coming on if he's really, really hurt and injured bad and can't play anymore because of that punctured lung. So we're gonna keep following the story. But we get to the point of the show where we start to make our picks. Of course, Pop put his picks in. Ice put his picks in before we came on the air. So let's get to them.
Can we pump the brakes a second?
Sure, we can pump the brakes.
If you don't mind, I know it's your show. You know, you're in control, but I just think that at this point of the show, bro, you know, you want to go get your football, and I'm glad you're getting there because I think at this point in the show, you need to tell the fans that basically, like you said a couple of times, our picks go against the competitor picks and other people that are supposed to be experts. We do better. With that being said, I think you owe it to the fans. You owe it to the fans to give them what was the rundown of our picks last week. And I think there would be no better time to say it now. If you truly believe that our picks are better than what they do on Fox, ESPN, and those other networks that really can't come close to us, here's a chance to demonstrate it.
Okay, I was getting there. All right, the Twins, Ice Water and Black Thor. They had a 14-2 record last week. Pretty good. I came in second with a 12-4 record, and Pop had an 11-5 record. So we have a three-way tie at first place in the total records. Pop, Ice Water, and Black Thor have a 24-8 record. I'm one game behind everybody with a 23-9 record. So I ain't doing too bad. I ain't doing too bad at all, as the song says. So
absolutely, bro. I'm just gonna say this, man. To kind of piggyback on what you've always said, and you're correct. I would tell folks that are paying attention and viewing us, go check and see what they did last week, and tell me who had 14-2. Yeah. And I'm not trying to pat Ice and I in the back, but tell me they're getting paid to say that who had 14-2, and it's all a crapshoot. But I just want to know. Show me anyone that had 14-2 last week. That's all I want to say.
I'll say to the fans out there, challenge us, like Charlie Murphy says, and bring your boys to watch. All All right, the picking order, the selection order is a little different this week. Pop is first, I'm second, Black Thor is third, and Ice Water came in last. Boy, I know he's hurting that he couldn't come in and do the show and pick last because he hems and haws a lot when he goes last. But anywho, I know he's going to get me for that. The first game is Miami and Jacksonville tomorrow night, Thursday. And Pop went with Jacksonville. I'm going with Jacksonville too. I still got a feeling that Miami may show up in that game or they may switch quarterbacks. But who you got, Black?
Yeah, I don't think Miami's ready to switch quarterbacks yet. I think they're going to wait till they kind of really feel that they can't make the playoffs. And I think they're scared to put the quarterback actually on the field. And I don't blame them because I'm not sure if he's physically fit, ready to come out in the field yet. Okay. Now, I don't know when he will be. But if you put him out there now and he gets hurt, you might have set him back for another year or two. So the longer they can rest him, I think the better. I'm surprised that they didn't kind of find another quarterback to come in other than Fitzpatrick. I know he won a couple of games for him last year, but he's just not going to get it done. And we spoke about that before. I'm taking Jacksonville with this, man. That quarterback has something in Jacksonville, and they got rid of a lot of people that probably didn't want to be there. But Jacksonville's showing me, man, they're showing up and they're playing. They're playing hard. They're gritty. They're not scared of anyone. Miami's still working some things out, but I don't think they're going to have enough to beat Jacksonville. So I'm taking Jacksonville.
Okay. Ice Water has also selected Jacksonville, so we're all picking the home team on that one. The next game on tap is the Los Angeles Rams versus the Buffalo Bills. Pop went with the Buffalo Bills. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams. I do like the Buffalo Bills, but I think the Rams got something going a little bit. So I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams, the road dog. Who you got, Black?
Yeah, I don't understand this quarterback with Buffalo, man. He wins. I don't know how he does it. I don't know what he used. As they were saying, the honeymoon was a Ouija board or whatever. I'm not sure what he uses. But at the end of the game, you find him on top. But I would have been a little more clear with this game. It was in maybe Los Angeles, but even though it's going to be played in Buffalo, I like the Rams, man. I think the Rams defense is a little stronger. I don't see them basically being able to run against them. I think it's going to be a defensive battle because Buffalo has a pretty good defense. But I think it was all said and done, the Rams are going to edge them out. I'm going to take the Rams.
All right. And Ice Water went with Buffalo. He went with Buffalo. So we went half and half on that. Next game on tap is Houston at Pittsburgh. Pop is going with Pittsburgh. He's been picking Pittsburgh for the last couple of weeks. I'm going with the home team. I'm going with Pittsburgh also. I just don't trust Houston's defense. And I just don't think that, even though I love Watson, I just don't think he has enough on offense. Even though Pittsburgh's defense is not that good, I don't think Houston has enough offense to even win that game. He's going to do a lot of running, and he may get hurt. So I'm going with Pittsburgh. Who are you going with, Black?
Yeah, I'm thinking the Steelers too, man. I'm afraid for Watson, man. And I'm not trying to put the jinx on. I'm just there, man. I think it's sad that I'm happy he has his money, but he has nothing on that team, man. I don't think the powers to be will get him anything. And it's just a bad situation. And I think at some point the team around him is going to stop playing as hard. They're playing hard now, but I want to see them in week 5 and week 6, how they kind of show up. And that's going to be the question mark for them. But I think Steelers defense might be a little better than what people give them credit for. I don't even trust the Steelers offense, to be honest with you, man. I think Ben is trying to basically show he still should be out there. And I don't know if they're stuck to him because they gave him that contract, but at some point, man, they may want to find a replacement for him and start getting them ready because I can't see him doing this much longer. But I'm going to take the Steelers.
Yeah, I saw the game last week. I think it was against the Giants. And he was out there and he got hit after a play and got up limping. And I'm like, he's not going to be playing this season very long. He just holds on to the ball too long.
He's made a career doing this. Like, I'm sure the most coordinators he's worked with, offensive coordinators, said to him, Ben is stubborn though. He thinks he wants every play to be a fantastic big play and get off the field. He doesn't believe in just kind of matriculating it down the field. So, and you're right, he hangs on. And that's when most of his injuries come from. He's standing in that pocket like the Statue of Liberty. And they can only block for so long, bro. Yeah. But for some reason, he hasn't gotten that through his head. And I don't even think Mike Tomlin coaches him. I mean, I love Mike Tomlin. But I think after a period of time, Mike Tomlin just became a person standing on the sideline, bro. Because at some point, you got to get to your coaches. You let your quarterback know you got to get the ball in your head. What do they say to him in film study? I mean, obviously ain't paying attention.
He probably tell him the line, block harder, because he's not going to move. Ice went with Houston. He went with Houston, so he's the lone wolf on that pick on that game. The next game on tap is Las Vegas versus New England. Pop is going with the home team, New England. Likes the way Cam is playing. I'm also going with New England on this. I don't trust Las Vegas defense because, in all due respect, watching that game on Monday night, New Orleans had a shot. They had a shot, but they couldn't hold them on defense either. And we're going to talk about that in the game later with New Orleans. Breeze is not looking good at all. And if they had another quarterback, they could have hung with Las Vegas a little bit longer and beaten them. I think it's smoke and mirrors with Las Vegas. I don't think they're as good as that 2-0 record. Who you got?
I'm gonna tell you, man. I know. I was impressed with the Patriots, the amount of points they scored against Seattle on Sunday night. I was saying I don't know why that game was on Sunday night, and I was wrong. So
I remember that.
Yeah, it turned out to be a very good game. But I'm gonna tell you something. I think the Raiders are onto something, bro. And I kind of hate to say it. That team has a little mojo going. They playing with a bit of nastiness, of old Raiders nastiness. I think their defense is going to do enough to slow Cam down. And they finally got Carr to throw the ball good, bro. Carr is slinging it. I mean, the past two games, that cat is slinging the ball like I've never seen him sling it before. It's funny because he had a good year. He got a good contract, and he kind of like disappeared for like 3 or 4 years. Something they did with him all season got him a period because he is tossing that ball like nobody's business. So I think they're going to force the Patriots to air it out again. And that's not the Patriots football game with Cam Newton. So I'm going to take the Raiders.
All right. And Ice is taking New England, the home team. You know my theory, when the Monday night game, the team that travels loses.
I thought your theory was, man, that cold weather is a big girl season. I forgot.
Hey, that's what I was told when I came to Chicago.
I got confused, but I'm sorry.
Next game on tap is Tennessee versus Minnesota. Pop is going with Tennessee. Good Kirk Cousins has to show up at some time during the season. I think this may be the game where he shows up. So I'm going to go with Minnesota. I'm going to go with the home team. Who you got, Black?
I'm glad you're taking them, bro, because they did me in on week 1. So I'm glad you're taking them. You keep on betting on Kirk. I tried. I heard the coach, Zimmer, said that he's tired of this. Zimmer, you're the coach, bro. You're not. I mean, you're the coach. You're tired of. It's like you say that and things correct. Your Kirk Cousins had a 0 quarterback rating going to the third quarter Sunday, bro. How do you do that? But go back to last year in the playoff game where they wouldn't even allow him to throw the ball. So it's like, I don't know what you're thinking. I mean, I'm not speaking of you. I mean, just as a team, as a head coach, you're waiting for something magically appear that's not even there anymore. That defense is not what it used to be. They're on the field way too much. You got rid of one of your best receivers in Diggs. They want to be there because of your quarterback. It's going to be just a matter of time for Nalen, I think that's his name, Thalen. He complained last year. He's going to start to complain about what's not getting them all. This team is a mess to me, man. Minnesota is just basically taking a nosedive. There's no way. If they was playing the Harlem Globetrotters, I would take the Harlem Globetrotters. But I'm going to take Tennessee with this one, bro.
Okay. And Ice is going with Tennessee also. This should be a rock'em sock'em game with 2 good running backs on each team. So I want to see whether or not which team kind of controls the running game and controls the time of possession in that particular game, because I think that's the team offensively, if they can control the time of possession, can edge out the other team. The next game on tap, this should be a doozy. Washington versus Cleveland. Pop is going with Cleveland. I'm going with Cleveland. They won their first game last week, but I'm still not sold on them. Who you got, Black?
I tell you what, I'm sold. They're at home. Cleveland's at home, if I'm correct.
Yes.
I'm sold on that running game, bro. That running game, that 2-head monster running game is something else, man. I know when they signed Hunt, everybody kind of raised their eyebrows like what they were doing, but it panned out, man, because that 2-headed running back they have, even if the quarterback is not clicking like he should, I think Cleveland get this done. I think they found something. They got to get that quarterback out of the pocket, man. He's not a pocket quarterback. You got to live and die with him being on the run, getting on the edge, and doing some things, creating some things, making some things happen. Because when he stands in the pocket, he's not accurate. He doesn't see the field well. And you think he's been leading now 3 years, those things should start to be better, but for whatever reason, he's not getting it. Maybe he's doing too many progressive commercials, but they'll have enough this week to win. I'm taking Cleveland. Washington, I don't trust. I think there's going to be a while. If they get better, it'll be a while if they kind of get there. But on the road, I'm going to take the Browns.
You remember who I said Baker Mayfield remind me of when he was coming out of college?
Was it Johnny Manziel?
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
And I said, I think he's going to be a bust just like Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
I really do. All these weapons around him, and he still can't get it done. And I think when he starts floating outside the pocket, there are guys just as fast as him or faster that can get to him and break him up. So I just think he's another Johnny Manziel.
Now, did Cleveland draft Johnny Manziel too, by the way?
Yep. Wow. Yep. They sure did. Ice is going with Cleveland too. So Cleveland drafted a whole lot of quarterbacks that ain't in the league right now. I just look at him, and he reminds me of Johnny Manziel. A lot of flash and dash. Did great in college, and excited, the college cheerleaders and the college fans, but got to the pros, and that game just not translate to the pros. The next game on tap is Cincinnati and Philadelphia. This is going to be, I don't know. It took me a long time to decide this particular one. But Pop is going with Cincinnati with the rookie quarterback. And I started to pick Philly, but I know they had their coach on TV asking about the quarterback, and he's getting all offensive about it. But Philly just hadn't shown me anything. And then I said last week that Philly, it was a must-win last week. They dropped the must-win last week. I think they're going 0-3, bro. I got to go with Cincinnati.
No, I believe that too. I think the coach is not ready to make a move, and partly so. I think in his mind he may be thinking about it, but you're paying Wentz too much money, bro. You're paying Wentz $31 million a year. You can't bench him in week 3. You just can't. Paying him that type of cash, Jeffrey Lurie is not going to be happy with that. And at some point, they're going to have to be able to sell that to him before Wentz get benched. But I think Wentz is done, bro. To me, he's never had a career worth what he's being paid. He shows little flashes. The first year, he seemed like he was okay. But it seemed like, to me, he's playing out of his element. He's playing like he's trying to prove something. And maybe in the back of his mind, he knows Hurts is coming. And that's why it's like he's playing like, okay, I got to go out here and show and keep him off the sideline. And Hurts is not ready to come, but he's playing that way. And it's like he's killing the team. He's literally killed it. I'm going to tell you, man, Joe Burrows is an NFL quarterback, bro.
Yeah.
He's an NFL quarterback. That year at LSU, wasn't LSU, it was a mere fact that he had an offensive coordinator that was an ex-NFL offensive coordinator, help him tremendously because he sees the field well. That touchdown pass he threw, I was like, whoa. I mean, he's throwing in the tight windows. He doesn't have fear. It's going to take a little while, but the team around him is not bad. Cincinnati, they may not have a hell of a season. They're going to win a few games, but Cincinnati is coming. They're coming. I'm going to take the Bengals with this one.
Yeah. Ice went with Cincinnati too. And I said after week 1, after I saw Joe Burrows, I'm like, they got a quarterback. They just need to surround him with the things that he needs. And he wants to win. He has the attitude that I don't want a rebuilding year. I want to win right now.
Yeah.
You can just see it in his face, the determination. He's pretty tough because they've been coming at him. They've been coming at him and throwing everything at him.
Yeah.
He's been getting up and coming out and showing that he's game. So, but Philadelphia, I don't know. They're working Hurts into the offense slowly but surely. I don't know if you're noticing that. So maybe they're trying to get him to get a feel of the game. And so when he's ready, he doesn't feel like he's just coming in there cold. So they're throwing, things in, packages in to bring him in. But you'll never know.
I'm going to say this, man. I don't know if this got national attention, but the Eagles fans have started a petition.
It was only a matter of time.
Yes, already, bro. Before week 2, they had a petition up for Hurts to start. Week 2, man.
Yeah.
It's only going to get louder. It's only going to get bigger. And I'm not saying you pay attention to the fans, but when he's out there playing that way and you draft his other quarterback, and let's just be, in my opinion, Hurts fits what's going on in the current NFL today. He just does. He fits. You got to have a quarterback that's mobile, that's accurate, mobile. And let's face it, and when you come out of that system, the same system that Kyler Murray came out of, and
Hmm.
you flourished, people want to see you bring that to the NFL, man. The fans wants to see it, but I think it's going to take a little while for the ownership and the brass to say, you know what, move on, because here again, you're paying this cat over $30 million, and it's hard, man. It's one of the biggest thing about us as men sometimes is admitting we made a mistake, and they made a mistake in paying them that cash, bro. They
Yeah,
could act like it, no, the coach can get mad, whatever. You paid them that money, and it's a mistake.
yeah. And these are the same folks, Philly fans, who booed and snowballed Santa Claus. So they
There
don't
you
care
go.
nothing about a $31 million a year
Care
quarter.
less. Care less. Care less, man.
Next game on tap is the San Francisco 49ers, who are limping into this game, and they're limping into New York in the Meadowlands with the New York Giants. They're the home dog. I know Pop is going with San Francisco, even though they're banged up and they're going with their second string quarterback. I'm picking San Francisco too. I just don't believe in the New York Giants. And I'm going to ask you who you got in this game.
I'm gonna say this first, man, because I heard this yesterday. I might have heard it this morning, but the Giants and the Jets have been the lowest rated watch
Yeah.
football team, football teams the past couple of weeks, and that speaks volumes, bro. That speaks. I mean, that's all you need to know. There's nobody watching them, and they know, and people know why not to watch them. I haven't watched the Giants yet, bro. I saw a little bit of the first game. I was out, and there's some TVs where I was, so I was kind of forced to kind of see it. But I can't sit there and watch the Giants, man. I just can't. I mean, rebuild year, whatever the case may be. Giants went about it wrong bringing this general manager in, and they may not want to admit it, but they went about it wrong. Barkley's going out. There's not going to be much more to go to. That defense is going to key on the quarterback, and I think the quarterback is okay, but he can lead you to the future. I'm not sure yet. San Fran can limp in, they can walk in, they can come out in a car. They're going to win this one, bro. They got it.
Yeah. My question is when do the Giants, the brass of the Giants, realize that, hey, this is not the general manager that we need on this team? They did sign Freeman, a former running back from the Falcons, to play for a one-year contract, I think $3 million a year, until Saquon Barkley gets back. But Saquon Barkley, with that ACL, it takes a year and a half, 2 years to kind of get back to form. But when did the Giants brass realize that, hey, this was a mistake?
Here's the problem with the Giant brass. And, it's going to sound maybe harsh, but the Giants brass needs to bring in some young, innovative minds, and they kind of need to move out of the way. And what they did is when it was time to hire this general manager, they went to a general manager had years ago. I think his name was Ross. I can't think of his name right. Okosi, Okosi, the guy that drafted Eli. They went to him, and this guy tapped him. And don't get me wrong, Ernie Acosta did his thing years ago, but he doesn't still have the pulse of the NFL. And the Mariners doesn't have the pulse of the NFL. So they're just basically kind of being misguided. You brought a cat in that really doesn't understand what's going on in current day football. He went basically, I'm not knocking Danny Dimes, but he went and got a quarterback that basically you could have took someone else. You need a quarterback now that can move. I knew the Patriots were happy, even though they didn't jump immediately to get Cam Newton. Bill Belichick sat there on the sideline and been savoring looking at Lamar Jackson. Couldn't wait to get a quarterback such as him. The NFL is moving in that direction, bro. The NFL is no longer about 1, 2, 3 height, stand back there. You got to be able to spread and move. And the Giants want to stay the New York Football Giants, what they were 10 years ago, and that method is not going to work. So the answer to that question, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure because they got to give this coach a chance because he brought him in at least a year or two to see what he has. So maybe in 2 years, if things don't work out, I don't believe they will. They don't show any progress. They will clean house. But they needed to get rid of him last year, and they chose not to. They really did. But where I can see it, that's all they got because sometimes the Giants brass get a little stubborn, and they kind of they don't want anybody kind of tell them how to run their business. And they kind of don't like when the fans, they claim they listen to fans, but don't like when the fans kind of go the opposite side of them. But at the same time, you got to realize these fans are paying your salary, bro. Those high price tickets, nobody's sitting in the stands now, but they're sitting in those cold, hard seats. And now you got a stadium where the grass is all bad and
Yeah,
hurting people.
yeah.
So, I mean, I just think they're a little out of it. And I think they need some younger innovation to come in and kind of get things moving. And I thought this when the case when they hired this quarterback or this guy from the what's the name from the Patriots. I'm tired of people looking at the Patriots street and grabbing somebody. Go find yourself a young innovator cat. If you got to go into college ring, something, And look what's going on with Carolina, bro. They're not winning, but just look what Carolina's doing.
Yeah.
So you mean that's what the Giants should be doing. So I'm sorry, man. You can't sit back here and act like, let's go. No, Carolina's playing and in every game this year. Can you say the same thing about the New York Giants?
Yeah. And 2 years may be too late to try to salvage this mess that they have now, because if they're not getting any viewership now in 2 years, if they keep with this kind of
In
process,
trouble. Yeah.
big trouble.
Yeah.
Next game on tap is Chicago at Atlanta. And Pop said he's not betting on Atlanta no more after what Dallas did to him last week. Because I know he was grinning when Atlanta was up 20-0. He's like, I got this in the bag. Them guys are going to be smelling my exhaust. But Dallas made a great comeback, and they got lucky at the end with some of the stupid plays that Atlanta came up with. With that being said, Pop went with Chicago. I'm going to go Atlanta, because if you got embarrassed that much, and people have been talking all week, if that doesn't get you mad enough to come out and beat the snot out of your next opponent, you're not going to have a great season. If that doesn't motivate you, you're being talked about and ridiculed about a team like Dallas coming back on you, and you're at home now, you better come up and show up. So I'm going with Atlanta. Black, who you going with?
I'll say this, man. If this team, speaking of Atlanta Falcons, don't come clear to the playoffs, you got to back up a U-Haul and get all those coaches out of there, bro.
Yeah.
From the special teams coach, defensive coach, Atlanta needs a serious. That team is way too talented to play that bad. And I had a conversation with a cat at work about that onside kick. He's like, the players got. I'm like, no, bro. As a coach, and obviously they haven't been trained on situational football. They just haven't been. But even that being said, you bring them over to go out on the field, and this is what we're going to do. There's no way you have three guys doing like this, looking at the ball. I'm like, but it's just time and time again, they get up and they lay down. I just don't understand. I mean, and that's something, man, that you got to put right at the foot of the head coach. It has to start right there.
Yes.
It's just, I mean, you there's no other way. And I'm sorry, man. To me, I know you don't like to fire coaches mid-season. If it comes to the point by week 6 or 8, they don't have a shot, he's got to go. What more you hoping to get out of him, Dan Quinn? I don't understand it.
Did you say I don't like to fire coaches in midseason?
No, I said I've heard people say that before. Commentators say, "Don't fire." Yes, it's no. I mean, you can't. You have to really just show these players that you mean business, because I don't understand it, bro. I mean, I know it's just a game, but how many times can you choke out? How many times? Just choke. Just literally just put your hand around your neck and squeeze your neck, man, and choke. With that being said, I know it's a long thing. I'm sorry, we're long. I don't trust Chicago traveling to Atlanta to win. I just don't. I picked them last week. They played. Guess what? You know who they played?
Yeah.
But Atlanta's going to score. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Atlanta's going to score some points. They proved that last week. They kind of proved a little bit the week before. And I don't think Chicago going to be able to kind of keep up with them. I'm taking the Falcons on this one.
All right. Ice is going with the Falcons, too. Quiet as it's kept. Mac has a knee injury. He's had it from week 1. And he's not playing as fiercely as we once saw him in the past. Thank God for Hicks on that line, because he's been bringing it and relieving him a little bit. But quiet as it's kept, Mac has a injured knee, but he's still playing. He's still being a trooper. But I just don't believe in Trubisky over there. The running game, they will go to it, but Trubisky will find a way to throw at least a couple of interceptions a game when he doesn't need to, when they're up or when they're doing well. He's throwing the ball hard. He's throwing it with purpose. He's throwing it, committing to it. But sometimes he could commit right to an interception. So give me 2 interceptions. I was betting in Las Vegas. I got the 2 interceptions, the under and over kind of bet. Give me 2 interceptions on Trubisky.
You know, it's interesting, man, because Cleveland catches hell for a long history of not having a good quarterback. You can put Chicago in that same hell, bro.
Yeah.
You really can. You think about it, you put Chicago Bears. I mean, outside of Jim McMahon, and I'm not saying Jim McMahon was nothing special. He got the job done. Name me the quarterback that's really been there that you can just say, okay, he had a decent season, not a good season, a decent. It's like, and it's year after year. I don't understand how a franchise could just think every year we could show up without really getting a quarterback that we can hang our hat on for the next 5 to 10 years. There's no way when they sit at a table and think that he's the one and bringing Foles in, whatever you want to do. And when you have quarterbacks in this draft, realistically, that you could have probably went for. And I don't, it's almost like Trubisky has an uncle that works in the brass and they don't want to hurt his feelings or something.
Yeah.
But they treat him because you can't, there's no way in the world as head coaches or defensive coaches that on that team, whatever, can't look at him and believe he's the guy that should rally us and carry us. At some point, I know you're just getting a paycheck, but you got to believe that. And I don't know, maybe they're afraid to sit up. I think the general manager is afraid to admit, here again, you were wrong.
Yeah.
But you're dead wrong. And the whole league knows it, that you were wrong. Watson is basically smoking a cigar with a new contract. What is this guy looking at? If you give him a contract, I mean, that's even worse.
Oh, that'll be,
it's even worse.
Yeah.
So I have no idea why you trotting him back out this season. I mean, I understood the thing I said earlier about Foles, okay, in case things don't go well. But my point is, Foles not the answer either. He's a Band-Aid for this year, if anything, best. You got to start looking. You just have to. I don't. The mere fact that when they act like, oh, he's it and you're rolling with it, I think it's despicable to the players and the fans of Chicago. And I'm not a Chicago Bears fan, but you got to at some point get a quarterback that you think can lead you for the next 5 to 10 years. And you know he's not. He's proven it to you. He's proven it without a doubt. I don't know what they wait for, what they see. It hasn't been much progress. Knock it off, man. Like I said earlier about Derek Carr, look at the progress he's made in a couple of years, bro. Last year, this kid couldn't even throw a fade well. He couldn't. You know, I don't know if it's John Gruden, whatever, but he's gotten better. And what progress can you write down and say about Trubisky from the year 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah.
You can't.
Fun fact on Chicago, the Chicago Bear coach, Nagy, he used to play football. Guess what league he played in? And he played quarterback.
Canadian?
The Arena League. Moving right along. The next game, Carolina and the Los Angeles Chargers. Pop went with the Los Angeles Chargers. Even though I think that Carolina is going to do some things to confuse the rookie quarterback, it's one thing to come in the game cold and nobody's seen tape of you and do well one week. It's another thing when a team gets some tape on you, see what you can do, and then come back and prepare for you. So I think this might not be a slam dunk for the Chargers, even though they played Kansas City well. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Let's see how Herbert plays under pressure where people got some tape on him and they can throw some things at him. Who you got?
You say you're going with the Chargers, correct?
Yes.
I'm gonna take that move. Excuse me. I'm gonna take that move as well. I know they had tape. They got a little tape on them. They're gonna understand. But I'm telling you, man, he's a gamer, bro. He's a gamer. I think if to me, I'm more concerned with if they kind of shut him down early. What does the Chargers do to counter what's going on in the field? The Chargers can kind of make some adjustments. I think they'll be fine. I'll take the Chargers.
All right. Ice went with the Chargers too, so we all went with the home team. Next game on tap is the New York Jets versus Indianapolis. Pop went with Indianapolis. I'm going with Indianapolis too. We just talked about the New York teams. They're really not coming out to play. And I remember San Francisco last week, the first play, 80-yard touchdown. You could have used that safety you got rid of to be that safety valve to stop that 80-yard touchdown from the running back. But, you know, the coach knows best. And why they would pick up Gates, the coach, when he stunk it up in Miami, they brought him to the Jets. I mean, nobody's surprised that this is where this team is right now. Who you got, man?
2 words why they hired him. Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning called the owner And for some reason, they thought Peyton Manning was a consultant, and they hired him. I, it boggles the mind, bro. I'm just anticipating maybe week 4, 5, the Jets are gonna lay down, bro. They're gonna start laying down.
Try to get the draft pick.
No, they're gonna start. The players are not. They're gonna not play hard for him anymore.
Mm.
Yeah, I just got a funny fear. I mean, here's a quarterback too. Think about this. When the last time have you heard the name Sam Donald?
Right. True.
When, I mean, what have you seen him?
Right.
I mean, there has been this, and I'm not sure if it's his fault because I think he had some potential, but it's been stunned. And if you work with Peyton Manning, you should at least have this quarterback shining, bro. He should be spit shine. So this is a no-brainer. I'll take the Colts.
So you're talking about the Peyton Manning that played football, or the disillusional Peyton Manning that does the insurance commercials?
Delusional Peyton Manning that does insurance commercials called in because they were considering hiring. When the opening was there, they was considering hiring the same coach that McCarthy.
Oh,
He was the leading candidate for the Jets job. Peyton Manning called in and talked to the owner, Woody Johnson. And before you know it, Adam Gates was hired.
so the delusional Peyton Manning forced the hand of the New York Jets to hire the coach they have now.
I don't understand what he could have said to you. Like you said, what you see him did in Miami, what could Peyton have said to you other than the mere fact it was Peyton Manning that make you want to hire him?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, he played in your division. You should have seen with.
Yeah, you should have seen. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and you played him twice, so you. so there's no excuse for that. Ice is going with Indianapolis also. This should be an interesting game. Dallas versus Seattle. Seattle's the home team. Pop is going with Seattle. I'm also going with Seattle. Russell Wilson is playing out of his mind right now. Who you got, Black?
I think quietly Russell Wilson is tired of Lamar Jackson and Mahomes getting all this attention, bro. He's too much of a gentleman to say it, but he's showing it on the field, bro. I mean, this if he keeps this up, he's got to be MVP. There's no way. He never been close to being MVP, but I think he's a little tired of them getting all the recognition and realizing I've been around a lot longer. I have not gotten my just due in the names of conversation. So Seattle, yeah, to me, I said this to you last week. The Cowboys needed to win that game, and Dak needed to win that game to justify the money that he's looking for. Well, they need to win this one, bro. To prove to me, I'm not a Cowboys fan. You need to go into Seattle and win this game to show that you deserve to be the Dallas Cowboys and be consideration, possibly going to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. Because you're going to win the division by default. That nobody's going to question. It's going to be yours. But if you can't go into Seattle and take them down, trust me, ain't nothing. Even if when they make the playoffs, nothing happened to the Cowboys. And I don't care who they play the rest of the year, whatever. After what happened Sunday, go in there with a clean game and come out with a win. A clean, effective game where you basically are effective. You run what you're doing. Your plays is look crisp, clean, win the game. Don't have some ups and downs where Dak is fumbling the ball. Go in and win this game. It's week 3. You should be past all the pregame jitters, all what you didn't have a preseason. Go in there. This is the game you need to take. You take this, the league and the rest of the football watchers will be on notice that the Cowboys are serious about winning the Super Bowl.
I'm not sure they can win that division, to be honest with you, because somebody will bumble up, and kind of just win it on the,
default, bro. Who else is going to beat them, though?
Yeah, that's true, because you got Philly, Washington, and the New York Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, if they keep stumbling, man, they'll mess up and let one of them kind of just back in with a 7-9 record and win the division.
Wow.
And it's sad, but that division, remember how good that division was at one particular
time?
That was the division that everybody paid attention to, and now look at where they are now. It's a shame that those teams and those franchises never really rebuilt it, just kind of rebuild over the years or reload it to come back and because I remember the Giants were dominating, Cowboys were dominating, the Hogs were dominating at one particular time. You know, Philly was, you know, always in the mix. You know, playing their
Yeah.
rivals to all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's like nobody wants to watch them. They're
No.
they're slowly becoming the Jets and the Giants division, and if they don't really take it seriously, it's Dallas's to win. But if they don't take it seriously and they don't win that division, I'm not paying Dak. I'm not paying Dak. It's easy. It's there for you. It's there for you.
Well, I just made some good points last week. Well, I mean earlier on the show the other night, is that you know even Dak had 400 yards. Dak, your throws just gotta look better, bro. It's just your throws got some of his throws aren't where they should be, and that has to be shown. I mean, I understand the Cowboys. I think they're offering him a good contract, person. I think where Dak is, what they're offering him, he should have took the money. Dak, there's no way you want much more money than Russell Wilson. You want much more money than Aaron Rodgers, bro. You're not in that. I don't know what they've been telling you, but I meant to say this that night. I think his head is bigger than where he is, and he thinks he's further in the process. He built a football stadium in the back of his house so he could practice in the off season. What does that tell you?
It tells me you should have waited till you got the big time contract to do that, where you knew you were going to be stable in one place. Then,
his head, bro. His head.
That.
Yes, his head is like, you know, here again, he's arrived. And one thing about the NFL, bro, the NFL will humble you real quick without saying a word.
You know, Black, I think if I was an NFL coach, I would take a little old school with me. I would the first day, I would come in with a stack of a blank airline tickets. And, you know, I'm going to coach you up really well. You make some bonehead mistake or you cost us a game, one of these tickets are going to be yours. I'm cutting you and you're getting the next flight out. They're all one-way tickets out of here. And I would show them. I would just flick it like money. Like, these are one-way airline tickets. We're going to coach you up. We're going to prepare you to win. I want winners. One can have your name on it. If you sit there and look at a ball and an onside kick instead of picking it up, this
is for you.
Ticket could be yours. Okay.
Wow.
Next game on tap is Detroit at Arizona. I think this is across the board.
Oh, yeah.
Cop with Arizona. I'm going with Arizona.
Arizona.
Arizona. Kyler Murray is a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little monster. And I'm so glad that he is. It's almost like he's caught up with the speed of the game, and he's looking like he did at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The way he's controlling the offense, the way he knows, he's kind of knowing where everybody's supposed to be. Okay, it's time for me to run. Okay, it's time for me to throw the ball away. Okay, it's time for me to do this, that, the other. My progressions, everything. It just seems like he's at Oklahoma again. And it's just beautiful to watch him. I'm always rooting for the little guys, man. So he's one of the little guys. And so, I remember when he first came out and said, I want to play football instead of baseball. And he was getting a lot of money to play baseball. And you said this on Monday's show that, man, I was wrong. You know, he did right by coming in and playing football.
No, he did, bro. He did. I'll echo that again. I was wrong, bro. I wanted him to take the football because football, I mean, not football, baseball, they tend to have a little more longevity and make much more cash. So I was like, if they're offering that to you, take that. But he has, you know, I never questioned his talent, his skill, but he has exceeded what I thought he could do in the NFL in a short period of time, man. And I remember the head coach that they brought in, everybody was like, he has no experience, blah, 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 and they fired the other guy. And I hate to say this, man, there's a brother they fired, but they haven't looked back, and they're looking good, man. That team has basically set themselves up, like I spoke about Chicago. The Cardinals are set for the next 5 to 10 years, bro.
Yeah.
They should be set for the next 5-10-year run. They just should be to build on what they have. They got Hopkins there now. Oh my goodness, man.
He's getting like 10 to 12 passes a game. Man, come on. Come on. It's like you gave Kyler Murray a new toy at Christmas and he's playing the hell out of it.
And you did him a favor taking Johnson. You did them a favor taking Johnson. You did. I mean, you really did. You did them a favor. What was it? Bill O'Brien was sitting at the bar with their general manager, And he said, after you load them up with good old whiskey, I'll give you Johnson option. Oh, hell yeah, I'll take that.
Have another drink. Everything's on me. Oh, man. Next game should be a decent game. The Denver Broncos quarterback goes down, and guess who they pick up at Denver? Not Calvin Kaepernick, Blake Bortles. Denver does not want to win, and they got to get rid of Elway. They got to get rid of Elway in that organization.
Yeah.
I know he won Super Bowls for you. I know he's your guy, but he does not know talent. He cannot pick talent. You're going to go get Blake Bortles, who stunk it up in Jacksonville for a one-year contract? You just going to babysit him? You're going to put him in? Who's the other guy who's from Baltimore? Your favorite quarterback?
What's his name? He robbed them for years after he won the Super Bowl. They took him.
Baltimore for years.
He robbed them for years, bro.
Yeah. We'll think about it because exactly, we don't even know his name right now. Yeah. He ain't playing. So
I'm just gonna say this, man. You're right. It's time for Elway to go, bro. I don't know if the ownership is going to make the move because they probably feel an allegiance to him, what he's done. But I don't respect him for bringing Peyton Manning there because that was a no-brainer, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a no-brainer. He had a pretty good defense, and it kind of worked out. But he has no clue, man. John has no clue. It's amazing that he just keeps swinging and missing. I mean, not just missing. He's swinging the bat and missing and falling down from a hard swing. And it's time to move on. It's just time to basically bring some serious people in there to run that organization and move them out the door.
And I think it's because the family, they're in a state where they're trying to figure out who's going to control the team.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of it. They're not really paying attention to him because they're fighting over control of the team. I think the siblings are fighting over control of the team. So he's kind of like a kid that's just running amok in the house, and they're trying to figure out who's going to own the house at this particular point. But
he's running a serious muck too.
Huh?
Yeah, so he's running a serious muck through here, man. He's having fun.
So Tampa Bay, Denver. Papa's going with Tampa Bay. I'm going with Tampa Bay. They proved that they can play some heads-up defense last week, enough to give Brady and that offense some cushion. Who you got this week?
Yeah, Tampa Bay. It's going to be relatively easy for them. It's going to be They shouldn't have a tough time with this one, Tampa Bay.
All right, and Ice went with Tampa Bay also. Next game on tap is Green Bay, and they're going to New Orleans to play. Papa's going with Green Bay. I'm going with Green Bay because Breeze, for the last couple of weeks, does not look like the old Breeze. And me and Papa were talking about earlier today, and he's like, man, this guy can't get the ball 20 yards down the field anymore. And he lost one of his receivers. I thought surely that he would make a strong comeback against the Las Vegas Raiders. It just didn't happen. And you just contributed to the Raiders' first victory in their new stadium, $2 billion stadium. And so Aaron Rodgers is playing his ass off. Nobody's talking about him, but he's playing his ass off. And they didn't need to draft anybody. They got everybody they needed, and they're just rolling on. Who you got?
I think Aaron Rodgers has proved in the past couple of weeks. Now, he hasn't played great teams, granted. But I think he's proved that a lot of times the people that sit around have nothing else better to do, led by producers, don't know jack about football, whether they played it or not, because they made a big deal out of Green Bay Packers not drafting a receiver and taking Love, and you have to think towards the future. Like I was saying earlier, Love fits where the NFL is and where it's going. Right. At some point, Aaron Rodgers will not be there. I don't mean they're ready to get rid of him today, tomorrow, or some year, but they're looking down the road. He sat behind Brett Favre for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You have to start to prepare. And commentators lost their mind. They don't respect Brett. They don't respect whatever, all this stuff. And it's, they lost their mind. And this cat is still swirling like nobody can, man. He's throwing it. So, yeah, easy Green Bay. I think New Orleans, I think they're going to start to slide. I mean, they showed up against Tampa Bay, but you're right. Drew Brees is not the Drew Brees of the past 2 years. He's just not. I know we always looked at Tom Brady, but here again, I don't think he can get it done. And, I mean, I'll be honest with you, bro. I'm happy to see that. I am. The way he came out early in the part of the season and blasting people for kneeling, whatever the case may be. I hope his season is horrible, bro. Hope it blows right up in his face, and you can go donate all the money you want. You can do whatever shirts you want to wear. I want you to go down and leave this league with your face in the mud, bro. That's what I'm shooting for. And I don't give a damn who doesn't like me saying it. I don't want to care about what he done, whatever he did, whatever the case may be. I want his face in the mud as he walk out of this league.
Yeah.
I want that to be the last thing people remember about you.
Do you think that players, like when they stay too long, they start to realize that, you know what, Father Time is just caught up. Father Time is just caught up, and I can't do the things I want. My mind wants to do it, but my body is saying no. Like we see it in the NBA, we see it in the NFL, even see it in baseball. When do these guys see it? Because we're all watching it and going, that's not a normal play that he would make. And he can't get the ball there, all this other stuff. He's seeing ghosts. Do you think they see this, or they're just so wrapped up in their own ego that they force themselves not to?
I think they see it, but it's got to be very hard to honor it and acknowledge it, bro. Because you think about it, if you've been playing this or playing a game, and you begin adulation all your life for just doing this, and then now you get to a point where, like you said, your mind could do, but your arm, your body can't respond. But yet you want all the stuff that you're receiving before. So you're trying to prove it to yourself, I still can, and we see that you can't. And usually what happens in cases like that, someone's gonna make the decision for you.
Yeah.
You just start, they're gonna make the decision for you. And usually at that point, it's not gonna be smart. You know, I know after that time that a couple of years ago, that run that they make to the Super Bowl because of the pass interference, it's hard to walk away because I know, but huh?
Closing at that time.
Yes, it was starting to close, bro. I know that was a bad play, but even that year we start to see it. And last year we saw it more. You're seeing it more now, and it's like, I don't know. I think it's incumbent upon players, and I know it's hard. Same thing with boxers, man. It's incumbent upon you as a person to know, you know what? I gotta leave the party. It's time. I always remember the song Kenny Rogers. You gotta know when to fold them. You gotta know when to leave the party. I always use that in my mindset when I was going out and doing things. You gotta know when to leave the party. You gotta know when to put the last string down, when not to have the last string. It's the same thing. You gotta know when to remove yourself before yourself get removed in a way that doesn't need to be removed.
All right. Last game. This is going to be a barn burner on Monday night. We have the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. Pop is going with Baltimore. He was emphatic about going with Baltimore. I got to say, I got to go with Baltimore on this one, too. They're playing pretty tough. They're playing motivated football, and they have upgraded their team. And this is going to be their barometer to see where they are in the season. And they felt they should have been in the Super Bowl, that Lamar Jackson should have been the MVP and get the big-time contract. So I think they're going to try to take it to Kansas City. Everybody's bringing it to Kansas City, but I'm going with Baltimore in this game. And I thought I was going to be the only one going for Baltimore this week. But who you got?
Well, you said Lamar. They thought Lamar should have been MVP. He was MVP, but
No,
I
the
think
Super Bowl.
I'm sorry, Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, I think they marked their calendar for this game and the next time they play Kansas City. And Kansas City showed me one thing last week against the Chargers. They could take their foot off the gas some, and they've done it last year, and they got away with it. They're not going to take their foot off the gas against the Ravens. They just can't. The Ravens are going to, once you take your feet off, they're going to celebrate even more, man. They want this game. The Ravens want this game in a bad way. I'm glad it's on Monday night. I'm just glad it's Monday night, or it would have been Sunday night. But I think this is the game of the week, bro. The Ravens are ready. They're healthy. They're ready to go, bro. I think it's going to be a good game, but I don't think it's going to be that close. I think the Ravens will win this one.
I know that Ice picked the Ravens too. But I was looking at Kansas City last week, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. Is that when they put those 4 down linemen on defense and went after Mahomes and went after that running game, that kind of took them back a little bit. And what I have to give Kansas City credit for is that their coach will sit down with Mahomes, and they'll sit down and communicate what we need to do, how we need to do it, how we need to get back in the game. And I kind of love that about Andy Reid. He'll sit there. He ain't going to just stand on the sideline and watch the game. He's going to get with his young quarterback and say, hey, this is what we need to do, what adjustments we need to make, what are you seeing out there, this is what I'm seeing. and then they find their way back in the game. I wasn't even worried last week when the Chargers were up because you just had a feeling that Kansas City, they were going to make plays and they were going to be in the game and they were going to pull it out somehow, some way. But you're right. You can't keep doing that every week. And I don't know if they'll be able to do that with the Ravens this week.
I noticed that, and I admire that too about him and the assistant coordinator. I can't think assistant coordinator they have there, offensive coordinator. Yeah, man. I mean, they do that. They're right on them. I think it's smart and it works well for them. And it's just amazing, man. And I wasn't sure it was going to come back. I like the fact that Hill, you can keep that brother down for 3 quarters, man. But somehow he's going to kill you. He's just, I mean, Tyreek Hill somehow, some way, that roster, I mean, it's just like, if he's on the field, he's going to find a way to kill you. He just quietly, he's not saying anything. He doesn't do anything. And he catches the ball, touchdown. It's like no big deal. Like, okay. I knew it was coming. They're that loaded, man. So even if they lose this week, I think they're still going to be there in the hunt. It's all said and done. And I think one thing they showed me last year, latter part of the season, their defense elevated itself. So I think they're going to have a little bit, taking their feet off the gas a little bit. They're going to bump their head a little bit. But I predict towards the latter part of the season, they're going to tighten up the ship. And if he's healthy, if Mahomes is healthy, which I believe he will be, they're going to be there when it's all said and done. They may not make it to the Super Bowl, but they're going to be a contender. They're going to be a serious contender.
Yeah, look for this game. I think the key is that the 4-down linemen from Baltimore pinning their ears back and then going after whoever has the ball and getting to them as fast as possible. That's what you see. You saw Bosa and those guys and with the Chargers do last week. They did a pretty good job just kind of frustrating the offense and getting to them a little bit, making them play a little bit faster. Those are our picks. We'll put them up on Twitter. Any parting words on the NFL or anything else that you want to talk about in sports before Monday night when we do the first 40?
Ooh, parting words, man. I'm actually I'm going to tip the NFL, my cap to NFL, because when everything that was going on with the corona and everything else, and everybody was basically telling them they're not going to play, they don't believe they're going to play, how they're going to play, whatever. They found a way to stick to their business and get their business done, bro. And we thought we was going to see sluggish football based on not having a preseason. They found a way to keep their brand and their product tight and deliver a good package. And they really are. And, you know, they don't do everything right. Some things they don't do, we don't agree with. They can handle some things different when things happen. But at the core of everything, they find a way to deliver a product that have you glued to your television, and we talk about it all week. When you think about it, man, they only play a few days out of the week, but we talk about football 7 days a week. That is something else, man. That's some power when you think about it.
Just to piggyback off that, man, the Charger game, it beat the Laker game in the ratings in the playoffs. Think about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm here to tell you.
Are locked into football. Basketball, folks aren't waiting around to see who's champion. They may wait to the final or the 7th game or whatever. But when the Chargers aren't that good this year, are beating you in the ratings, that's something to be said.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to be said.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. All right. Rest in peace, Gail Sears. We will see you next week. Check our picks on Twitter, on Facebook, and I post them up on my personal Instagram also. Let us know what you're thinking about the show. Email us. I'll put the email on our little ticker down there. You can email us. You can hit us up on our YouTube page. But it's Black, it's Icewater, and it's yours truly, Puma. We'll have some guests coming up soon. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Go easy.